Okay, I'm just going to go over the Stoichiometry Review Answer Key. There are a few corrections I need to point out just so you know what to do on the exam, which is tomorrow. Everything on the front is correct. I'm just going to slowly move it. Okay, the mistake that I made was I forgot to refer back to the chemical equation and look at the subscripts. Therefore, wherever it says grams, okay, instead of looking at the subscript and seeing that there's two of them, I only put the weight of chlorine once. So if you watched the previous video, I probably told you in your top right hand corner to put 35.45. But again, it was my mistake. You need to pay very close attention to all these subscripts because it will determine if the answer is correct or incorrect. So again, you are changing the mass for the compounds. So the first one you'll change is 70.9 for chlorine because there's two of them. And again, this will change your final answer because when you're multiplying across, it's a different number. And that's going to go for the remainder that I show you. B, for bromine, you probably put 79.9 because that's what I told you to put, but there's two of them. So you need to put 159.8 and it will change your final answer. So when you are taking the exam, please pay attention and know that the subscripts do matter and you have to account for however many there are of that specific element. And to figure that out, you look at the subscripts in the original equation. So we'll go down to 6C. Right here, chlorine, change that to 70.9, and the new answer is 2.11. For 6D, you're going to change bromines to 159.8, and your new answer is 0.31. I'll let you copy that down for a minute. If you need more time, just hit pause. Okay, the last thing I want to cover is the limiting reagent. You will have questions on this on your exam. What is a limiting reagent? Okay, these chemical equations that we've been seeing here, okay, these chemical reactions will not go on forever. Eventually a chemical reaction will come to an end. That's because one of the ingredients or elements, it runs out. Therefore it cannot continue. The process stops when one of the elements or ingredients to this reaction runs out. And that is what is called the limiting reagent. An example I always give is the s'mores. If you're making s'mores and you have a bunch of leftover marshmallows, okay, and you ran out of chocolate, what is the limiting reagent? The marshmallows or the chocolate? It's going to be the chocolate because that's what you ran out of. There's plenty of marshmallows to go to continue the process of making s'mores, but you ran out of chocolate, so that's the limiting reagent. When we look at this diagram right here, which is similar to the one you'll see on your exam, it says you have 10 H2s and 7 O2s. Well, how do I know which one's the hydrogen and which one's the oxygen? The only way to know is to count. So I'm going to count the little ones first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Knowing that there's 10 little molecules, that is going to be the hydrogen. I'll count the larger ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and there's 7 larger ones, meaning that is the oxygen. After the reaction, we have 2 molecules left over. According to what we just figured out over here, what are these 2 molecules? Is it oxygen or is it hydrogen? It's going to be oxygen. Okay, so there's leftover oxygen ready to continue the reaction. What did we run out of? What is there no more of? Hopefully you said hydrogen. So for C, the limiting reagent would be hydrogen. That's what we ran out of. That is what limited the process. And what is an excess reagent? And that would be the oxygen. That's what's left over in excess.